Everybody stop talking now. Attention. I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time when I beat Sonny Liston. I told you today I'm still the greatest of all time.
What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn concerning Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury. Get this. Warren fires back at Hearn over Fury-Whyte rematch clause. Okay. Promoter Frank Warren does not want anything to get in the way of the unification bout for his client Tyson Fury, despite whatever rival promoter Eddie Hearn may have to say. Warren took an issue with Hearn's recent comments that he was not doing a good job on behalf of Fury by not trying to negotiate a rematch clause in a potential bout involving Hearn's client Dillian Whyte. Fury, the WBC belt holder, was recently ordered by the sanctioning body to begin negotiations with Whyte and the mandatory challenger. Whyte, however, has a pending legal case with the WBC, as we know, so negotiations will not begin until their dispute is settled through arbitration, possibly in March. In response to Hearn, Warren made it clear that a rematch clause would be the opposite of doing right by his client, as he believes a rematch would unnecessarily hinder Fury's chance to unify against either Anthony Joshua or current unified champion Alexander Usyk. Joshua and Usyk are set for their rematch in April of 2022. Usyk, undefeated, won the first meeting back in September to get all the belts, or should I say the majority of the belts, from Anthony Joshua. And Warren said this. He said, well, first of all, I think Tyson Fury wins the fight. Secondly, anything can happen in boxing, so I get the situation regarding a rematch. If we got a rematch clause in there, in the meantime, Joshua gets it on again with Usyk, and whoever wins that fight, that means we're now lumbered with a rematch clause and we can't get the big fight that everybody wants to see. Warren, moreover, believes it is not the public's interest to see Fury potentially fight Whyte for a second time. So I particularly don't want to do that, Warren continued. I just want to see Tyson get in there, win the fight against Whyte, and go and fight for all the belts. That's what I want to see. That's what part of these problems have been in the past. Doing a bad job for our client, we've done a good job for our client. He's the #1 heavyweight in the world. We've done a very, very good job for him. He's the undisputed #1 heavyweight. I don't know where he comes from with that. What his views are and my views are obviously at times different. And he ends with this. All I want is for Tyson to get one fight out. He's only had one fight in 22 months. In March, then get rid of the obligation with Dillian Whyte based upon the terms of what's been decided, that I want to see him come out that fight and fight for the 4 belts. I don't want nothing else in the way. That's a good job for boxing and for our client, I believe. Those are the words of Frank Warren. Let me counterpunch people. First off, Frank Warren is not saying he doesn't want the fight, but what is he really saying? Well, if you heard me read the last portion of what he had to say, it's easy. He wants Tyson Fury to get another fight because he hasn't fought in a while. He wants to keep him active, which is smart, but he doesn't want to necessarily do that with Dillian Whyte. Okay, that's what I see also, because if you look at him saying, hey, we want the Whyte fight and we want to fight Whyte and then fight, and we don't want a rematch clause, so then we'll fight the winner out of Anthony Joshua and Usyk, which will be later on in the year. So if he has a rematch clause, we don't want to be tied up with Dillian Whyte because of all the malarkey. So we're going to cut that out. Okay, so if that makes us a bad promoter, okay, we'll be that bad promoter. Right? I'm paraphrasing, but that's what Frank Warren's saying. but he's also saying, hey, we do want to get in there and fight. We want to get in there and fight someone because he hasn't fought in 22 months. So I think their next objective for Tyson Fury is to get him a fight. Okay, that's it. They want to get him a fight. They want to get him in there with someone less dangerous, get him in there with somebody that keeps him active. And then whenever in March, they can settle up. The only problem about that is you won't have enough time. That's the only problem. See, maybe if Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder would have fought in July on the 24th, he could have fought someone later in the year and then fought Dillian Whyte in March when the arbitration or whatever comes down. But that didn't happen. He fought Wilder in October, okay? And he doesn't have the time between October, fight someone else in October, and then turn around and fight someone else in March. He doesn't have that type of time. That's the only problem I see. But I agree with the rematch clause. I mean, why would you need a rematch clause for Dillian Whyte? You know, so, and I think because they don't have a rematch clause, they want to approach that fight with some type of cobwebs swiped off of Tyson Fury. You know, they want Tyson Fury active and ready to challenge Dillian Whyte. Okay, so they want to be prepared for Dillian Whyte, which makes a lot of sense. You know, you got both promoters over here doing certain things, but I think what it is, if they do fight Whyte, which I doubt, okay, and I'll get to that in a second, but they want to be ready for whoever. So they need another fight. So I think the Helenius fight, and that's a fight that I haven't talked about, so we might as well bring that up right now. Helenius would be a good fight for Tyson Fury because Helenius is active. He's tall. He's up there with like the quote unquote bigger heavyweights. He's in that category. So yeah, I would see that fight happening. Okay. And it's a total different video that I have to talk about Helenius because Helenius is a certain type of fighter. But I think that would be the next step. Andy Ruiz, I don't think he's ready. And I think Andy now is being carried to the point where they're so cautious with Andy at this point. It's going to be another year or so before you even see him do anything remarkable. But anyway, back to Dillian Whyte. I don't see them fighting Dillian Whyte, right? I don't see them fighting Dillian Whyte. I see what they're doing. They don't want a rematch clause. They want to nip that in the bud. And when the arbitration comes down, I believe at that point, that's going to be right around when the winner of Usyk Joshua gets revealed after they fight. And then you will see something totally different happen. It won't be a gratification like Wilder, I don't feel. I don't feel that. Unless the arbitrator makes that happen. But unfortunately, I don't see them making that happen. It would be good if they did because that's the right thing. But I don't see them making Tyson Fury fight Dillian Whyte then when you have a winner out of the two. If Joshua wins, okay, that money from Saudi Arabia comes back. If Usyk wins, that money from Saudi Arabia comes back. So that's a whole new opportunity, a whole new window will open up for something that could happen that people have been looking for. And then they're going to run and try to tackle that like a touchdown because that's what's going to happen. And then Dillian Whyte will be stuck with whoever. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Frank Warren firing back at Eddie Hearn. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.